in the elimination rounds. And the winner of these two is going to face Philo Strauss on Bug Delver. I think Bug Delver is actually one of the best decks in the format, but I would suggest it's a slight underdog against either Miracles or Charlotte's Bug. But Philo hasn't lost on the day. Neither has Greg. Aaron is our third seed, so these guys have all proven their mettle in the tournament today. It should be exciting, and I'm sure whoever wins will have to work very hard for this. So going down to the feature match, Greg is the higher seed. He's going to have the option. So players are going to go shuffle, figure things out, and Greg will presumably be on the play.
One interesting thing about this matchup is that Greg is on the Predict Miracles build.
Yeah.
And I think that changes the matchup somewhat because he's able to possibly answer the card advantage angle if he is able to use the Predict to its maximum.
I think Predict is extremely strong against Charlotte's Bug. It lets you get rid of the cards you don't want while giving you card advantage, especially in conjunction with Snapcaster Mage. You eventually still do need a payoff card. This can be a Jace, maybe an Entreat the Angels. Often Predict builds shave some Entreats. We know Greg at least runs some. I don't want to specify how many. So it's a delicate balance, and this matchup is really interesting. Who is the aggressor? Who is the control player? It really shifts based on the board state.
Right. We can also say that Predict is the reason why Greg won his last round. Like he's here predicting into the Force of Will.
Yeah, well, the Force of Will was eventually the reason that Predict got him into it.
Right. But if he was playing some other card instead of Predict, what would that have been? Red Elemental Blast, or
it would have probably been a Council's Judgment and an Entreat. Okay. Or actually, no. Well, I don't want to speculate.
Okay.
Maybe a counterspell actually. So an extra counterspell, spell snare. I generally don't play Predict. I've tried it before. I think it gives you less ability to overwhelm less popular decks that fold to Entreat, but I do think it helps a lot in the Charlotte's matchup.
Also, the idea behind the Predict was also to prove your Miracles Mirror, wasn't it?
It was. And I ended up losing to the Miracles Mirror and facing a bunch of otherwise bad matchups I somehow got lucky to win when I tried it. So I shut off it, but I think there's certainly merit. I might even consider it going in the future. Greg looks like he's happy with 7 leads off of Island into Ponder, owning a grip of blue cards and another Tundra, Jace, counterbalance, another Brainstorm. Aaron looks like he was also happy with his. He's going to initiate things on his first turn with Misty Rainforest, presumably for an Underground Sea.
Yes, there's an Underground Sea.
Mm-hmm. And here we have one Knucklehead on the left borrowing my playmat, one on the right borrowing my Sylvan Library. I've got dogs in this fight. And he's going to lead with a Deathrite Shaman. That's a good start.
I agree.
Greg, Volcanic Island, slams counterbalance. All right, it's going to put Aaron to the test. What does Aaron have? He has a Maelstrom Pulse. He has a Decay, which is a much cleaner answer.
Yeah.
I like just...
I would save the Pulse for Jace.
Yeah.
Or Angels.
I would actually suspend the Ancestral Vision, because that's not going to trigger counterbalance, and then pass with Decay available. Make Greg play his turn under the assumption that he might want to maximize his counterbalance.
I agree. Get maximum value when
you
can.
And Aaron does exactly that. Excellent play. Sends it right back to Greg. Now, he could get punished for a sudden shock out of Greg, taking down Deathrite Shaman, because the mana ability is not in fact a mana ability, cannot respond in a split second, but I don't think he's concerned about that.
If there was somehow a sudden shock in Greg's Miracles deck, I don't even know.
I've actually seen that. But
was
you
it post-board or pre-board?
Post.
Okay. Still very unusual.
It is, in fact, unusual. Swords of Plowshares on Deathrite Shaman. I would activate that right now for mana. Green or black.
That Deathrite Shaman's going to be exiled.
Mm-hmm. And then he's going to go ahead, Abrupt Decay it. He's going to take down the counterbalance. Greg is going to consider at that point whether he wants to flip the top card of his library. It's not going to counter anything, but allow him to better manipulate his library, but he was planning to play a Ponder anyways, so no reason to reveal anything to Aaron. Looks like he's gonna shuffle this. Right now, things are going pretty well for the Miracles player. I think it's usually slightly in Charlotte's favor, but Charlotte doesn't have much pressure yet. Miracles is able to manipulate its draws very well and hit its land drops. Has a Jace coming at some point.
Aaron has a Brainstorm in his hand with a fetch land, so we'll probably be seeing that this turn.
Tick that down to 3. Oh, he's got a Sylvan Library. That's one of the best cards you can slam on this board. I think you might want to just lead with Brainstorm. I don't think I'm in the market for second Ancestral Visions, but he's going to be more conservative than I would be. Slam down that Sylvan Library. Put Greg Mitchell to the test. Passes back. And Greg is going to... I would just slam Jace right here. Oh, he has a Mentor
He also
too.
has
So
a Monastery Mentor. So.
some merit to playing that, but I like Jace a little bit more.
All right, you got your Jace.
And go Brainstorming right away.
Probably going to be eating a Maelstrom Pulse here.
Yeah, but if he finds a Force Wall, I think that puts him very far ahead. Aaron's going to need to count on the Library and Visions to do a lot of work, preferably a Charlotte's Agent.
I think he can probably aggressively Library too,
Yeah.
with no real pressure in this match.
Well, Monster
Only-
Mentor is actually quite a bit of pressure if he doesn't find an answer.
Right. He
But I
hasn't
think
seen
in
that
general,
yet, though, so.
yep, I would agree with your assessment.
Do you know if he knows whether Greg is on the Mentor version or if he's playing, thinking that he's facing Entreat the Angels?
Well, they faced each other in Swiss.
Okay, they probably do.
But he may not have seen the Mentor. All right, so Aaron's going to get a good look at his cards. I think I saw a glimpse of a Charlotte's Agent.
Looks like Greg is only on one Mentor pre-board.
Jtron, I do always vote to slam the Jace. Well, I vote to put it down as early as you can when you can protect it from counter magic or attackers. Come on and slam, and welcome to the jam. Looks like Aaron takes one card. He's going to pay 4 life for the ability to do so. And so this is a little bit awkward. I wonder if he saw a land on top of his library, because I think he really wants to play Brainstorming final land drop to cast Maelstrom Pulse, but if he whiffs, that's another turn that Jace is unchecked. And more dangerously, unchecked with open mana available.
Right.
He's going to find a Tropical Island. Let's see what he elects to do. Some merit to just pressuring Jace with a Charlotte's Agent and then maybe a Lucky Cascade, but I think I'm inclined to use the Pulse ASAP. I would not even I would not... Yeah, there we go.
I agree with that. I think if he draws a land next turn, he can just stack his Brainstorm or his other Visions on top, cascade into Visions, and he'll be hugely up on cards with Greg on nothing on board.
This is an important turn for Greg. He has Monster Mentor with 2 open mana availables. If he makes 2 monks with this, especially if Aaron fails to answer it, I think that takes the game in his favor. Otherwise, Aaron has Sylvan Library and a Ancestral Vision coming off Suspend soon. So I think he's really put to the test this turn.
Mentor is certainly a very powerful card.
Yeah, it is obnoxiously a little bit soft to Abrupt Decay, but you still make your opponent have it.
Is that another Maelstrom Pulse that he's ripping off the top?
Yeah.
It's just a different picture.
Alright, so he's going to look at his hand. Looks like he's still short on mana. I think, unfortunately, you just got to answer that guy as quickly as you can. You could Charlotte's into Ancestral, hope to at least hit some lands. And the Sylvan Library will allow you to set this up, but if this Mentor untaps, he's likely able to make quite a board. So here you go. He's going to reach for some mana. Charlotte's Agent, Cascade. He's going to reveal Ancestral Vision. Target himself. Good choice. Got a Force of Will, Deathrite Shaman, and a Fetch Land. I think you just play out what you got.
Definitely would have liked that Force of Will a turn or two earlier.
Can't have it all. That's why, as an opponent, sometimes you just gotta welcome to the jam.
I think we're gonna see Deathrite Shaman here.
I do. And let's see if Aaron has any copies of Toxic Deluge or something that could easily answer a host of monks. Well, that might be a little bit difficult.
He also only has the one Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah.
So that was probably a Shardless Agent that I saw earlier.
CVM won in the quarters, but lost in the semis to Thilo, who is waiting for the winner of this semis match in the finals.
Thilo's playing Bug Delver.
Yes, he is.
A little change from him. He usually plays Miracles. So
Yeah. I actually have been saying Bug Delver is very good. I've been playing something similar to Jim Davis's build, which
plays the Dark Confidants.
is very similar to, well, I guess we'll see soon enough. I don't want to spoil anything. So Greg, despite being the Miracles deck, is firmly in the aggressor role right now because Aaron has a grip full of cards, and this Charlotte's with Ancestral Vision coming off suspended, who have even more, needs to fight over this. Jace is not only a threatening Planeswalker, but can enable more Paralysis triggers off its Brainstorm ability.
Yep.
Just one turn might be enough to like just really go crazy.
Don't want to get overrun. Brainstorm, very good.
Oh, and look at what Greg found. I think that was Force of Will blue card.
It's like, it's that Ponder or the counter spell?
That was
It's
a ponder. Yeah. Force your force, target. Force your force, pitching Ponder, make another monk, Paralysis triggers.
And probably resolve Jace.
Yeah. I mean, I think even without the Jace, the monks alone might be hard to beat for Aaron.
Yeah. Only one Monastery Mentor in that deck. You just gotta dodge it.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
And these counterspells are going to trade. Does Jace just bounce at this point? He's got two attackers.
Yeah, because he can just smash for
9.
a ton of damage.
Actually, I think I still brainstorm, but I attack.
He has
Greg
a bunch
is
of
agonizing.
blockers back, so
I think Greg might have an entreat on top of his library too, so he's agonizing about whether he wants to fetch. But you know, if he finds a Source of Plowshares or something here off the fetch land and the Jace activation, ooh, that's a lot of damage.
yeah.
And I think that's what he's in the market for. Fetches up Tundra with his Aaron Mesa.
Just gets to overrun Aaron now.
Yeah, Aaron really needs a Dread Knight. May not even be enough. 1/1 prowess is already pretty threatening. 4 of them in conjunction with a Mentor. Ooh. All
Very
right,
powerful.
Brainstorm. I think he found top. Oh no,
Snapcaster
Snapcaster.
Mage.
So he's gonna resolve it like a Ponder, kind of. Puts the Snapcaster, I presume, on top of his library. Gonna send in 4/9. Jace, Force of Will, Ponder, or Brainstorm.
Thrown under the bus.
Throw in Charlotte's Agent under the bus. Mentor is going to run over it, and the monk is going to punch Aaron for 4.
Strong monk.
Target himself, Aaron, with the Ancestral Vision. He's going to need to get some good ones right here. This is interesting. He's drawn 3 cards this turn. Technically, he could put those cards back with the Sylvan Library. I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to resolve the Sylvan Library kind of like a top.
He has so many rough draws at this point for what he's going to get with all of these monks out. All those Hymn to Torarchs are not going to do anything.
Nope. He needs Tarmogoyf.
He needs something like Shardless Agent into Tarmogoyf. Lots of Tarmogoyfs. He needs big enough blockers.
Well, he needs to start with a Decay.
Yeah.
And then hope to take care of the 1/1s. Tarmogoyf's not really enough because of the Jace, so I think he'll need like Cascaders.
Even Baleful Strix is not very effective when
Nope.
he's getting hit with so many creatures.
Yeah. There you go.
Shardless at least helps him get the numbers of creatures up.
Yep. Gonna flip through a considerable portion of his deck, find a Brainstorm, shuffle the cards revealed to Cascade prior to the Brainstorm. Oh man, Savage right here. He's not even gonna present for the shuffle.
Something like
Okay, never mind. Greg declined to cut. If only I were able to do that when he battled me with Battle of Wits.
I wish we had that on camera.
We did have that on camera. We had technical difficulties.
Our camera died though.
Yeah.
We don't have the evidence.
That's good.
I got to see it in person. It was awesome.
No, it was disgusting. Yeah, Vora's Stronghold out of Aaron was revealed on the Cascade trigger. It's a really strong card in grinding matchups. Legendary land out of Stronghold, appropriately named Vora's Stronghold. Has the Academy Ruins ability, or the
Creatures.
Academy Ruins slash. There's what's the other card that?
Genesis. Bring stuff back.
Is there one of these?
Academy
There's
Ruins
nothing
gets
for
artifacts.
enchantments or anything else, right? Yeah, okay.
Skull of Orm does enchantments, but that's not really the same thing.
Okay. For creatures. Since you're probably getting back mostly artifact creatures such as Baleful Strix or Shardless Bug anyway, it's basically the same thing in this deck other than the colors requirements.
Getting back Shardless Agent can be pretty juicy. Just think, if you had an Academy Ruins, you could get back your Shardless Agent with that, or you could get your Shardless Agent back with Walrus Stronghold.
Yep. Alright, so Greg, firmly in the driver's seat, is going to send in for at least 7, at least 6. I suspect this is going to be much more than 6. Aaron might want to brainstorm right now, and I would have considered brainstorming during his turn.
I don't think Aaron's going to find the light at the tunnel in this one.
No. Just going to block the Monastery Mentor. Hope that there's no more. Oh, wow, that did the trick. Okay, now Aaron has a real chance at coming back from this game. Greg might be just holding on to reactive cards right now, such as Counter Magic. And that's a little awkward. You know, I think if you're willing to block the Deathrite, block the Shardless on the Mentor, I would have considered also blocking with the Mentor, with the Deathrite on one of the tokens.
Greg is still in a very strong position with a bunch of monks and Jace, considering that Aaron's already used his one of Maelstrom Pulse and has no way to bring it back.
Yeah.
If he had a Snapcaster Mage or something, maybe he could...
No, Shardless Bug typically does not play that card.
Yeah, obviously.
Unfortunately, he's going to go to the library, and the library's not going to be kind to him. He's going to just find a fetch land. Oh, that is actually my Sylvan Library, in fact. I think I already mentioned it, but thought I'd say it again. Let's see what Aaron's got to work with here. I think he just fire off one of the fetch lands, get 3 free fresh cards, and fire off a Brainstorm. But he's going to lead with a Hymn. I'm not sure I like that, especially against the Jace. Snapcaster Mage.
Yep. Good call.
Probably going to target Brainstorm, but he's going to let the Hymn resolve first.
There's also Swords to Plowshares down there.
Yeah, I think you fight over this.
In case...
I mean, if nothing else, that Jace on board represents the ability to bounce a Snapcaster too, and then get whatever he wants on his turn. House triggers like crazy. So looks like Aaron chooses fight over the Swords to Plowshares. I think that's a slight misstep. I would have fought over the Snapcaster. 2-1 bodies are already pretty important here, and he also has to contend with just Jace bouncing it for value if it becomes necessary, which I don't think it will even happen.
Well, he has so many monks as well.
Yeah.
If he Jace bounces, his Snapcaster recasts, gets Brainstorm, plays Brainstorm, pumps his monks.
Yeah. I think I just like brainstorming though. can you inform the judge that the brainstorm should be exiled? Can you say that? Tell them that the brainstorm should be exiled. Got pitched. Thank you. Okay, never mind. Okay, thank you. Sorry to the players. Thanks, chat, for keeping us on our toes. It's very helpful in general. Oh, predict. This is going to give plenty of power triggers. Oh, you don't want that terminus at all. You're way up ahead on board state. That a Sensei's Divining Top? Oh, that's an Entreat the Angels. Might just cast it. You can cast for 0 just to buff your team as an overrun. Or you can cast for 1, make an Angel. Is he going to cast for 0? No, he's going to go for 1.
Buff your team, make an Angel.
Yep. Palace triggers. Aaron's not looking in good shape. He's going to extend the hand, or he's not going to extend the hand. What a poor sport. Anyways, they're going to go get ready for game 2. Greg Mitchell, on the back of a turn 5 Monastery Mentor, was able to overwhelm Charlotte's Bug before Aaron was able to stabilize. A little bit funny because Miracles was in fact the aggressor in that matchup. Let's go to the sideboard to see what these guys have to work with.
It's one of the ways that Mentor has changed the matchup. If you're playing a Mentor build, you can switch roles and become the aggressor.
Yeah, certainly. So Aaron, I think he's definitely marked Pithy Needle and No Rod. I think he might consider some Thoughtseize as being on the play to nail the tops. I think trying to answer Mentor is a losing proposition, but Toxic Deluge, Golgari Charm, Umazawa is just taking mop up some of the damage. I don't think that's the fight you want to fight, though.
Is Greg bringing in any Mentors from the board?
No, Greg does not have any Mentors in the board. He has a sideboard right here. He was telling me that he actually brought in Stoneforge Mystic against Aaron, but now he's not sure if he wants to board it in now that Aaron knows about it. Having seen Stoneforge previously in Swiss, Aaron might be incentivized to bring in Thoughtseize as a clean answer to Batterskull. Greg will probably also bring in both his Red Blast effects. I think he will also want his Wear Tear, his Engineered Explosives, and potentially the Pithy Needle, although I'm not a fan. I also do like Vendilion Click quite a bit.
Vendilion Click is very good against Liliana, and if Aaron has his Jace, and also kill a Jace.
So I do like those cards. I like taking out counterbalances, but I think Greg leads in counterbalances in more matchups than I would. So that may not actually happen. Going back to the bracket, just to remind you, these guys are in the semifinals. They are playing for the right to play Thelo Strauss in the finals. Thelo Strauss has already eliminated Chris Van Meter. He is one of our finalists, taking the #1 seed all the way to the finals. Has not dropped a game yet today. Has not dropped a match yet today. Is he on a collision course with Greg, who's also undefeated in matches? Or maybe Aaron will get the games 2 and 3 and get some revenge. We'll find out hopefully within the next 20 minutes or so. But back to the match. This guy's, it's like Aaron's still contemplating his sideboard decision.
Chat's talking about Rest in Peace.
Yeah. Rest in Peace can often do a lot of work against Charlotte's Bug, and then sometimes from the Miracles perspective, it just shuts down your Snapcasters while you have to deal with Charlotte's agents and Liliana's, and just gets awkward. I think if you had multiple copies, there is merit to bringing in at least one copy, but I don't think it's outstanding. It can be, but it's very situational.
Greg has no Rest in Peace today.
Nope.
of the other things I hear a lot about the Miracles versus Charlottes matchup is that the more experienced Miracles players tend to believe that it's slightly favorable for them, whereas the less Miracles players are afraid of Charlotte's Bug.
I think that is accurate. I don't think it's so much based on experience as much as build. I think the Predict builds are quite good. I think the Legends builds, most popularly played by Joe Lissette, who is very experienced, are quite good. I think the Ponder versions are very all-in on Jace and or Entreat. I feel like I'm pretty experienced, but I wouldn't feel like it's a good matchup. I'd say it's slightly unfavorable from my perspective.
It's rather interesting how one or two cards can shift the dynamics of the matchup so strongly when you consider that most of the cards in these same Miracles decks are the same.
That's, I think, the beauty of this game, especially this format. Aaron leads with the Thoughtseize. He's going to want that Senseless Divine Top very badly. Unless he has an answer to it already. But I think this is quite a strong hand from Greg. Potentially soft to Wastelands, but I don't think he could ask for a whole lot more.
So Aaron has Null Rod that he probably brought in.
And a Pithing Needle.
And Pithing Needle.
Alright, so here we go. Aaron picks up a card for the turn, another Abrupt Decay. That's a little bit clunky at this point. Does have another Thoughtseize to work with. The question is, does he want to sandbag that? Or does he... Well, this is a bit awkward. He could potentially fire off Brainstorm, but he might get Brainstorm locked, and he's also giving Greg a target for the Pyroblast. So he does in fact get Brainstorm locked, but he does pick up another land that he can put into play, as well as a Baleful Strix and another Brainstorm. So he can dig pretty deep. I just put two copies of Abrupt Decay back. You're not casting them for a while. Go ahead and play that Creeping Target tapped. It's a good clock, but you're going to use it for mana for a while. Greg's going to draw for the turn. What's he find? He's going to keep that secret from all of us. Greg very sportingly leaves up his hands of 5 cards revealed to the Thoughtseize. I tend not to do that in bigger events just because I play worse when my hand is face up because I just forget what's in my hand, what's on the board. But props to Greg for doing that. Right here, Aaron's got some options to work with. I like to go ahead firing off this Baleful Strix. If it gets red blasted, then you got a target for that Wasteland.
Yeah.
I don't like Thoughtseizing though in the face of that Brainstorm.
Yeah, I would definitely not want a Thoughtseize here.
Okay.
Yep, here's the Brainstorm.
Brainstorm in response. Now Greg's going to pick up his hands because Aaron doesn't know what he's going to necessarily put back. Finds a Terminus and some other cards.
Aaron is going to get whatever his worst cards are with this Thoughtseize.
Well, third worst. This harkens back to, was it Blackmail? Remember that card?
Yes.
Blackmail, back when Duress was the best 1-mana discard spell available, you had Blackmail as a potential secondary option, and you pick one of your opponent's worst cards, but not the worst.
However, the nice thing about Blackmail is that you can hit lands.
You can hit lands.
So there's some occasions where it's better than Duress.
Hymn to Turok, Coercion, Encroach. There were quite a few discard spells that hit lands back in the day.
Yours is Destiny.
I like plucking either the Swords or the Vendilion Click here, depending on whether your plan is to play a creature or a Planeswalker, but he's going to go with a red Elemental Blast. That's interesting. Depending on the content of his hand, certainly defensible. Wasteland, go. He's got Forcible at the ready, Brainstorm in hand. Going to be patient on the Brainstorm to ensure he doesn't get Brainstorm locked. Can we change the camera angle to get Greg's hair on asking for a friend? Unfortunately, despite our best efforts, it's a low-budget operation. We cannot change the camera angle. Ask Greg to maybe lean forward a little bit, but I don't know if he'll hear you from Vancouver. So Greg picks up the land for the turn. Island. It's got 2 islands and a Bloodstrand. I think this is setting up very well for him if he can get Pithing Needle. I think whoever gets the first Planeswalkers down is going to be very far ahead. And I like jamming the Baleful Strix right now. You don't want click to not be imposed. You want to be able to dig a bit deeper before you do anything. And then if the swords trades for the click, you're very happy.
Having a 4th land is also nice.
Uh-huh.
Because now Aaron has Jace man alive.
Yeah. Looks like Greg's likely to go for the click, and he does. Aaron's going to let that resolve. I would consider Brainstorming to hide the Force of Will. It's by far the most important card in his hand, but he doesn't want to get Brainstorm locked. The danger for Greg is if there is... The danger from Greg for Aaron is if a Jace is about to get slammed. However, he does have Creeping Tar Pit to help mitigate some of the danger.
Yep. Unblockable is a very good ability.
Yeah, Creeping Tar Pit is quite annoying. Manlands just in general are difficult for control decks to beat traditionally. Creeping Tar Pit, no exception. Quite a good clock, very evasive. At 3 power, it's perfectly sized to take down the Jace, too. And Aaron did, in fact, draw off the clip, right? And looked like it bottomed the Brainstorm. Greg's going to contemplate his options now. He's deep in the tank. You see because he picked up the cards. In for 3. I think Aaron's happy to trade right here.
Yep.
Especially with Boras Stronghold in his deck. He wants to be able to get that in the graveyard before it gets Terminus or something. Snapcaster Mage off the top. That was the draw, or one of the unknown draws for Aaron.
Flashing back a Brainstorm.
Yep, Brainstorm. And this is looking pretty good for Greg. Aaron needs to hope he hit a Planeswalker off of the top of his library or something else. He's still got a draw step. Land next turn allows him to hold up Force of Will. So that's at least a start. Greg Mitchell cracks a Scalding Tarn as his land drop for the turn. Hey, thanks a lot, Warfordium. Appreciate that. Love to see Legacy everywhere. There was a nice Legacy event in Vancouver, British Columbia, just across the border. I think it was at the Connection Games. We've both been there a couple times. We even crashed there, and you admonished me not to bring a Mickey Mouse there, but I defied you nonetheless.
That was an interesting border crossing.
Yeah, but I was right. The Border Patrol was very fond of Mickey Mouse.
We didn't get held up, so that was good. I was concerned.
Land for the turn. That's from Aaron. It's going to ship back. He is on the defensive now, strange enough to the Snapcaster, but he can answer at any point with the Abrupt Decay. Question is, how much is he willing to bleed to the Snapcaster before he maybe forces something? Greg Mitchell knows there is a Force of Will in Aaron's hand. Aaron's going to take it on the chin, drop down to 14. Second main phase. I wonder if Greg's going to jam right here. Jason Mind Sculptor.
He has a Swords for the Tar Pit for when Aaron wants to fire it up.
I think this is certainly something you want to counter. Rogue 0071, you would be correct. Jason Mind Sculptor, I think you're slightly lagged behind what we can see. There's
Greg's
try to
hair.
hit the board. Greg's hair. Hope you're happy, Chad. And Aaron should also resolve his other fetch land. He's going to play around Blood Moon to the best of his abilities, I think, given that he's already fetched up a swamp. Looks like a forest is incoming.
Yep.
And here we go, hard cast Force of Will. And it's gonna exchange for the Force of Will. I wonder if there was any merit to just not playing the Jace into the known Force of Will while just setting in the Snapcaster and forcing Aaron to never tap out on Greg's turn. However, with the looming threat of discard spells, I think Greg really wanted to just make sure he could at least get a Force of Will out of Aaron's hand. Aaron is kind of flooding out right here.
Usually discard spells are also pretty poor to draw in this matchup late.
Yeah, but Greg does not have a Sense of Divining Top just yet. Oh, here's another Force of Will. Ooh, this is pretty good. And this is likely to go upstairs. 5 to protect him from Creeping Tar Pit. Leaves it on top. Aaron, do you think Greg's trying to level you?
Make Aaron use his fetch land.
I would decay the Snapcaster right here. You're actually on at a pretty low life total, and if you're committed to activating target, you might be sinking a lot of your mana for the foreseeable future.
Especially, yeah, that's the only way you have to kill Jace. Then.
Oh, he declines to do so. Oh, that's one of the best draws he could have gotten. Charlotte's Agent off the top. He may be able to potentially activate Tar Pit and play Charlotte's Agent. Cascade trigger. Now it's, here we go. 2 Charlotte's off top. Deathrite Shaman. Okay, that's a start. I think knowing that he had a land in hand, I would have liked sending in with the Tar Pit first. If there was a Terminus to be maybe enabled with a Brainstorm, then he could send that in. But I think there is a lot of merit to trying to soften up that Jace loyalty counters right now. And let's see if Aaron decides to get aggressive here. No, he's going to send it right back. I think given that he does have good draws of his own, I could certainly see that. Greg's working with a Brainstorm, a Council's Judgment, and another Brainstorm activation off the Jace. Ooh, Red Blast. That is going to put the game further in his favor because the best ways Aaron would have to come back include his own Jaces and Ancestral Visions.
Also the Tar Pit, blue and black creature.
Yep.
So Red Blast.
Good note. Well, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, Swords of Plowshares and Red Blast excellent at dealing with creeping Tar Pit. Terminus a little bit clunky, not so well.
Right.
Not so much. Swords of Plowshares is going to hit that Deathrite Shaman, send him farming. I think that Deathrite is summoning sick. It was cascaded into.
Do you think Creeping Tar Pit should have attacked Jace last turn?
I think so, but I think it should have been before playing the Starless Agent. However, I think there was a lot of merit in the line Aaron took. Depending on what you hit off the Starless Agent, you might not need to commit the Creeping Tar Pit. But he's just flooding out right here. And the goons are going to be sent in at Jace the Mind Sculptor.
The Red Blast is going to get used.
Swords of Plowshares,
Maybe not.
take care of your Creeping Tar Pit. There's probably more value in holding that Red Blast for something else. However,
Jace.
you do know that Aaron just revealed 2 Starless Agents to his Cascade trigger and has not been able to shuffle since then, if you've been diligent about observing what's been going on. So a lot of his best draws are at the bottom of his deck. Fate Seal. It's going to reveal, is that a Liliana the Veil?
It kind of looked foil from that angle, but it might have just been light reflecting.
Send it right back. Oh, that's a Deathrite Shaman.
Deathrite Shaman.
I like sending in with the Starless Agent once again, just so you can mitigate the blowout from a Terminus, or even just Snapcaster, block your Starless Agent, swords your Deathrite.
Yeah. And we see that Greg brought in Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay. And right now, he is looking very much in command of the game. Stoneforge Mystic, being able to fetch up equipment, as well as just having the mana at his disposal, hardcast Battle Scroll, even if the Stoneforge Mystic is dealt with, is going to just win the game for him.
It's one of the benefits of being able to go long is you have so much late game power with a card like Battle Scroll.
I agree. Okay, so here we go. Stoneforge Mystic hitting the battlefield. I don't believe he's activated Jace yet, so he can actually tuck the Battle Scroll away on top of his library, ready to draw on his next draw step, but still safe from any thought seizes that Aaron may be sandbagging or may have live as top decks. Battle Skull is going to go into Greg's hand. Swords of Plowshares, trading with the Deathrite Shaman. 17-14.
Pretty aggressive use of Swords to Plowshares there.
Yeah, I do agree it was quite aggressive, but I guess there's no real reason to let Aaron untap with it. Okay, this is not a bad answer. I like sitting in the Charles Agent at Jace. Probably is not going to require a block. Abrupt Decay trading with it, and Liliana ticking up gets both players hellbent as well as providing an answer to Batter Skull at the ready. Unfortunately, what Aaron does not know is that Greg has Council Judgment in his hand.
There's the Liliana.
However, casting Council's Judgment would put Greg one turn away from actually being able to slam that Batter Skull, so certainly could do something with that.
He can still Fate Seal again, himself or Aaron the next turn to keep his Jace alive.
Yeah, agreed. I like Fate Sealing Aaron because he doesn't know the top of his library quite yet, so you don't necessarily always get the benefit of scoring a bad card to the bottom. On the other hand, Aaron has a lot of very live draws. This Stars deck is just filled with these cards that just can put you back in front of a nutrition-oriented game. Namely, Charlotte's Agent, two of which are still at the bottom of his library, but which he's still alive to draw some.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't see Thing in the Ice at all today, did we?
Nope.
Right, so Snapcaster's back.
And it's going to target Brainstorm. I think he's going to fire that off right away because that last card in his hand is presumably Batterskull. He does not want to discard it. Oh, is that a punt? He may not have a Batterskull in his hand. Oh, he's got 3 cards in hand. Sure, why not? Resolve the activation. Snapcaster just comes in as a blocker. But I think Greg is in fine shape.
I think Greg thought that he had a Brainstorm.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit tricky because you're always like trying to figure out, do I have a Brainstorm in my graveyard? But you also don't want to reveal the contents of your hand. To tip off the contents of your hand by looking through your graveyard. Sometimes you could like bluff having Snapcaster Mage when you don't in fact do, but when you're playing Miracles, you're also often trying to like progress the game quickly because it's such a grindy deck. And in that case, like, I mean, you gotta just remember what's in your graveyard and not spend too much time just like thumbing through your graveyard, like trying to represent stuff for no value other than as a bluff.
Or you just angle your graveyard around so you can see all the cards at every time, or quarter of the card.
Yeah. I think Aaron kind of just has to attack right here. Well, it looks like he's not because he's... Well, there's no information lost because Greg face sealed that to the top. Charlotte's Agent passing on the turn.
Yeah, we have not also seen Nixilis. That would have been quite the planeswalker to add here.
Yeah. I do like Fate Sealing a lot as a Miracles player because Charlotte's 8 Bug has so many live draws, as I said. Another thing to play around, Notion Thief. Notion Thief is the easiest way to lose a game that just looks so far in your favor.
Notion Thief is an excellent card.
The Batterskull going to hit the battlefield. Greg Mitchell is very much in control. Aaron's going to need some shenanigans like Charlotte's into Ancestral into Charlotte's.
Do we have a germ for them, or an official germ, I mean?
We do have a germ token. Let's see if we could go ahead and...
I know they have tokens up usually next to the clock, or on the other side of the clock.
Can we argue that Greg missed his trigger? I don't want to interfere with the game, but I think he's...
I think he had probably announced it, but
I don't want to like. I don't want to poke a token there and then like who in potential strategic advice in a top 8 match.
We'll see if he adds a random card, which would indicate the germ.
If he sends in with the Batterskull or gesture something to that effect, I will.
He does not put out a. Isn't he obligated to put out something to indicate?
Yeah, he is.
Or if not,
or at least verbally acknowledge it, but we don't want to know. We don't know what's going on here. All right, he's reaching for 4 mana, 5 mana. Is this a Snapcaster Council Judgment? 6 mana. Man, that's a lot of mana. Okay, he didn't care
that
at all.
Didn't really matter then.
Snapcaster Mage. Now a 6/5 Vigilance Lifelinker.
Not too shabby.
He's going to crash in for 6, drop Aaron to 8, send Greg up to 21. He is very far ahead, in case you were wondering. Ponder. I'm not sure I like that, just because this leaves the Batterskull a little bit vulnerable, but I think he could win even if that got sacrificed to itself. I don't know. Land for turn. Wasteland, take out that red source. I think I like drawing and then taking care of the part. You might conceivably have a string of lands that incentivize you to.
Oh, another wasteland.
Yeah, Aaron's just absolutely flooding out.
Not what you want here.
Aaron, I think, needs to block at this point. Vorath Stronghold would be a decent draw if he weren't under so much pressure already. Brainstorm from Greg. He's gonna 27 to 8. Is that another fetch land? Talk to Deluge.
Probably, yeah. He's in big trouble. Even something like Pernicious Deed would be really bad because Greg can just rebuy the Batterskull, still have Jace with his top.
Toxic Deluge, I assume for 5.
This must feel awful.
Counterspell, and that's gonna earn the concession. Greg Mitchell takes it 2-0 over Aaron Gaudio. Well played match on both sides. Things just line up right for the Miracles player, and that's gonna punch his ticket into the finals. So
we are going to be